So let me ask you something. What do you want? What do you spend your days thinking about? What do you spend your days desiring? What is it that you want? You see, God, He gave you the ability to want for a reason. God wants you to want, but He wants you to want things that make you happy, that really make you happy in a deep, deep, deep way. And He wants you to want things that will help you become the best version of yourself. Obviously, sometimes we're attracted to things that don't help us become the best version of ourselves. Sometimes we're attracted to things that give us momentary pleasures, but that don't truly make us happy in the long run. It's a temptation we all fall into. But it is a temptation that we should grow out of over time as we become older. We should become wiser, and in some ways we should grow out of these temptations. We should be mindful that we're going to encounter resistance even before resistance has occurred. Because of experience and because of wisdom that we develop over time, we should be mindful, today, where I'm most going to encounter resistance today is in the afternoon when this happens. We should know that. In many, many cases, resistance, it shouldn't be a surprise to us. We should be mindful that it's there. You know, when we think about the things that we want, very often we want things because we're trying to fill something within us. We feel restless. We feel that we're not content. We feel unfulfilled. We feel hungry for meaning in our lives. And so a lot of the things we want are in response to that. And in our spiritual journey, one of the things we're called to do is to recognize, okay, I want that thing, but why do I want that thing? What's the motive for wanting that thing? What is it in me that wants that thing? And what am I trying to accomplish? You see, you've got a hole in you. You got a hole in you, I got a hole in me. Pretty big hole. When we're little kids, we try to fill that hole with different things. You know, little kids, we think, if I get that bike, you know, then I'll be satisfied. Then I'll be fulfilled. Then I'll be content. We get the bike and it doesn't work. A few weeks later, we're not fulfilled. We want something else. We think, if I get those running shoes. And we get the running shoes and that doesn't work either. As we grow older, we tend to develop these desires around social connections. We tend to think, if this person is my best friend, or if that person is my best friend, then I'll be fulfilled, then I'll be satisfied forever. And of course, that doesn't work. As we grow into adolescence, we tend to turn our attention towards pleasure and the idea that, if I have this pleasure or that pleasure or this other pleasure, or maybe all the pleasures at one time, then I'll be fulfilled, then I'll be satisfied, then I'll be content. And of course, that doesn't work either. As we come into early adulthood, we tend to turn our attention toward accomplishment. And the idea that if I can accomplish this thing or that thing or the other thing or all of the things or something great, something notable, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be fulfilled. Then I'll be satisfied. And of course, that doesn't work either. At that point, what most people do is they just cycle back through the same cycles again. Things, people, accomplishments, money, just more and more and more. See, we've got this hole. We're trying to fill this hole that we've got within us. The problem is, it's a God-sized hole. Only God can fill it. All that other stuff we're trying to fill that hole with, all of that in some way is saying, we haven't allowed God to take a big enough role in our lives. We haven't allowed God to have a big enough role in our world. And all of that is an invitation to explore that. Last Easter, I overheard a conversation between my oldest son, Walter, and his sister, Isabel. Walter was 6, and Isabel was 5. And Walter said to Isabel, Isabel, you are just too into all this Jesus stuff. Isabel can hold her own, so she said, well, you know, Walter, Easter is all about Jesus, so it's good to be into Jesus. Walter said, well, I am just more interested in the chocolate eggs and the chocolate bunnies. And I'm standing outside the door and I thought to myself, man, that is life. That is life. Sometimes we're into the God thing, and sometimes we're just more interested in the chocolate eggs and the chocolate bunnies. Where are you at the moment? Where are you at the moment? Because it's only by placing God at the center of our lives that things start to make sense. If you feel confused, if you feel a little bit lost, if you feel just even a little disoriented in your life, chances are something other than God is at the center of your life right at this moment. And so the question becomes, how do you get God back at the center of your life? Because when God's at the center of our lives, everything makes sense. What we tend to do is we tend to say, okay, God, I'll do whatever you want. I'm 100% available. And we put God right at the center of our lives. And then little by little, we take everything back from God. You know, little by little, we just sort of move God over a little bit each day. And then we realize we're back at the center of our lives, or something else is back at the center of our lives. And so this is a great time for us to say, okay, what is at the center of my life? And what do I need to do to put God back at the center of my life? And I'll give you a tip. A great way to do it is through your decisions. When you're making decisions, ask yourself, am I putting God at the center of this decision?